woman says she's ridiculed for breastfeeding in public. Her story and why an expert says this type of mom shaming still happens.
And the Voter Integrity Commission wants your private information. Why Texas and other states are saying not so fast.
And we have a couple thunderstorms around the Texas Panhandle. Will it rain here in town? And are rain chances about to dry up? We're talking weather next.
Live from your local news leader, KAMR Local 4 News at 6 in high definition starts now.
An Amarillo man accused of attempting to hire someone to kill his wife's lover may stay in jail just a little while longer.
Thanks for joining us. Billy Ivy Jr. could be headed to federal prison after admitting to possession of an unregistered firearm. That story is topping our news tonight at 6. Ivy faces up to 10 years in the federal pen for possession of an illegal silencer. He's expected to make the formal guilty plea Tuesday in federal court. Investigators say they found 3 silencers in Ivy's home safe while searching the property in connection with the murder for hire case. Ivy is charged with attempted capital murder in that case and remains behind bars without bond in Randall County. His sentencing on the gun charges will be held at a later date.
Voter integrity, it's been in question by President Trump even before he won the election in November. We are your local election headquarters. Now, 44 states are refusing to supply President Trump's Voter Integrity Commission with sensitive voter information. All but a handful are either flat out refusing to share data, and some, like Texas, are offering only some of it. Many are citing privacy concerns and legal barriers. The federal court could decide this week whether to block the commission's request for data. Local election experts believe there will be no evidence of widespread voter fraud. According to a WT political science professor, Dave Roush, the president already knows the answer to what the commission is seeking. There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Shannon Lackey, the Randall County Elections Administrator, tells us when it comes to claims of voter fraud, if you're not directly involved with it, then you truly don't know the way it works. Roush says the administration should use a different approach if they want to get results.
This whole commission thing is very interesting. I don't think they're going to find much, but it's just interesting to show that, you know, we're 50 states and they're all different, and they all have different rules, different regulations, different laws, different procedures. And I also have to criticize the commission for not getting a political scientist, because this would have been done already.
6 states are still waiting for the request from the commission, but 4 of those 6, including New Mexico, have already said that they will not provide voters private information. Such information could include the following: names, addresses, dates of birth, and political parties, the last 4 digits of registered voters' social security numbers, a list of the elections they voted in since 2006, felony convictions, and if they are registered to vote in other states. The commission is also asking for military status and if they have lived overseas.
The Travis County tax assessor and voter registrar says he found 17 cases of people creating a ballot in person during early voting, then again returning on election day. 4 of those double voters were found, and officials say they were all more than 50 years old. They could face felony charges if the case goes before the county judge. However, for it to be a felony, they must have voted twice on purpose.
It's up to them, and if they find people voted intentionally twice, then they should be prosecuted and convicted.
If any of them are convicted, the elections office would have to work with prosecutors to strike the votes from the official results. More than $100 million goes towards improving public schools in Oklahoma. The commissioners of the land office announced today that during the 2017 fiscal year, they distributed $103 million to public schools. That's over $1 million more than last year. They also distributed $34 million to higher education beneficiaries, which is the second highest amount in state history. For more on the President's Voter Integrity Commission requests and more political coverage, head over to our website, myhighplains.com.
2 prairie dog populations at the Muleshoe National Wildlife Refuge have contracted the Black Plague. The disease can be transmitted from animal to human by bites of infected fleas. For the public safety, Paul's Lake and the access road to the lake are temporarily closed to the public. The refuge is working with the Centers for Disease Control and the Texas Department of State Health Services to monitor that outbreak. No human cases have been reported or linked to this outbreak. An area mom is shamed in public for breastfeeding her child. We'll have more on that story in a moment. But first, let's set news headlines aside and check in on our forecast with meteorologist Corey Sima. Hey, Corey.
Hey, Judd, we're keeping an eye on thunderstorms close to the Texas Panhandle and close to Amarillo. They just really aren't bringing us much rain, and this is one we've been watching for about 5 to 10 minutes right now. It's raining out as we are talking. This is a dying thunderstorm. You see the top part of the cloud. It doesn't look organized or that impressive at all. Out at the airport, the instruments think it's mostly cloudy, 91, south winds 14 miles per hour, and you see just these hit or miss thunderstorms on the satellite radar picture. Most of the meaningful rain is over in East New Mexico. Our weather pattern, though, for the rest of the week, it's going to be hot. That blue H is going to move right over the Texas Panhandle. That means we're going to keep those temperatures up in the 90s, close to 100. Lows tomorrow morning, 65 for Amarillo, mostly sunny tomorrow. Are we going to see 100 degrees tomorrow afternoon, Judd? That's the question. And what about these rain chances? We'll detail all that coming up.
All right, Corey, we can't change it, so we'll take it. Thanks. South Korea's military today unveiled a simulation video of its military capability against North Korea. This is just one day after the reclusive state claimed it had successfully test launched an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time. The video, provided by South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, explains its core countermeasures against North Korea's military provocations. The video also shows a missile being dropped on what appears to be the Ministry of People's Armed Forces in Pyongyang. North Korea's July 4th test triggered a call by Washington for global action to hold Pyongyang accountable for its pursuit of nuclear weapons. Some experts believe that this tested ICBM had the range to reach parts of the mainland United States. An Amarillo woman says she's publicly shamed for breastfeeding her daughter at a local business.
Her post about this incident has grabbed the attention of thousands on social media and breastfeeding organizations across the country. KAMR Local 4's Zach Martin gets the mom's take on what happened and why experts say this type of mom shaming still happens.
We want to get it done, get it over with, and move on, but it is necessary, and it's a blessing, and it's something that women should be proud to do.
Kayla Martinez was with her 2 children at Air U Indoor Trampoline Park when she says she needed to nurse her 8-month-old daughter.
Nursed her, about 20 minutes, got done. Within a few minutes, the manager came by and he goes, you know, I'm not upset. We just want to let you know we've gotten several complaints of you breastfeeding. They've asked for you to cover up. He goes, but you do what you feel is best.
She says her daughter then crawled over to the far end of Air U's building, where she then needed to be fed again.
Sat on the floor and nursed her, and then within a few minutes, a woman came from the opposite side of the room and just was very upset, telling me that I was a bad mother, that I was being indecent with children in the room, that my breast was being very sexual.
This connection to sex is something internationally board-certified lactation consultant Angela Hartfelder says she sees quite often.
So it's really hard to reconcile that what we see as feeding the baby at the human breast is okay, when in our minds we've all been culturally taught that human breasts are kind of a bad and shameful thing that nobody should view.
Hartfelder says part of this is because breastfeeding didn't used to be as popular.
We've gone through 3 generations of moms here who have never either been breastfed or breastfed a kiddo. Breastfeeding rates in our area didn't start to go up until the mid-90s.
Hartfelder says it is actually women who berate breastfeeding mothers in public more often than men do.
Martinez says that employees at Air U were fantastic in how they handled the situation without forcing Martinez to breastfeed in another room or making her leave the building. Air U released a statement that says, in part, our goal at Air U is to ensure the happiness and satisfaction of our customers, and we do our best to accommodate any needs. Texas AgriLife Extension Research is getting a bird's eye view of their recent harvest, how drone technology is making it easier than ever to monitor their lands.
And Corey comes back in with a full look at your forecast. You're watching KAMR Local 4 News at 6.